So I have purchased a little pressure washer upgrade for my Kranzle K10 pressure washer that doesn't have an integrated hose reel. So here what I've got is the MTM Hydro hose reel that I'm going to be unboxing, setting up and showing you my kind of initial impressions of it on this video. So this hose reel works with a lot of different pressure washers. It's not made specifically for Kranzle. However, if you do have a Kranzle, there are a couple of things to keep in mind if you do purchase this particular hose reel. This is actually the second time I've done this. I had one, tried to set it up, encountered a load of problems because the connections it came with weren't really suitable. So I had to send that back and purchase this from a different company. So I actually got this from Aquaspray Kranzle, which have this set up for a Kranzle pressure washer. But the process is going to be fairly similar depending on what pressure washer you've got. But yeah, as I said, there'll be a few things I'll be pointing out about the process that I made mistakes on previously that hopefully it's going to go a bit better this time. So the first thing that I need to do is attach this handle. So I'll just get that out of the bag now. It comes with a few different things that I'll need. So I've got the handle itself here, and I'm also going to need these 3 bolts. I can get the camera to focus. There we go. We've got some nylock nuts and the washers as well. So it's fairly straightforward. Obviously it goes in this orientation. So I've got here just one of the bolts and a washer. I'm just going to thread that through. Pop another washer on. And then just go ahead and put the nylock nut on as well. And then the final step is just tightening these up from the back. It's nice and easy. So as I said already, I have been here before with this hose reel, so I already have the holes ready and the plugs ready for it to go. You can mount this to a few different surfaces, but one thing to keep in mind is that it doesn't come with any mounting equipment, at least from the places that I've seen and the 2 places that I purchased it from. So yeah, you are going to have to get that separately, so just something to consider before you go ahead and buy one of these. So I've got this nice and secure in place. The only thing that I've noticed that I think might make it a little bit tricky for some people, depending on what mounting equipment you're using, is that these sort of access points here, they're really difficult because the hose reel's actually in the way. It'd be a lot easier if this bracket was moved slightly inwards, if this kind of extended. It's really kind of awkward to get something behind here to actually attach, so just something to keep in mind. You might need something pretty short to be able to sort of screw this in. So as you can see, the one I've got here has this elbow that comes out. This is not standard with everyone you're going to buy. In fact, Kranzle Aquaspray were the only ones that I could find that actually had this elbow already fitted. This is really important, as otherwise the Kranzle hose, because it has this massive collar on it, doesn't actually sort of get flushed past this and you can't screw it in properly, so it's a bit of a nightmare. It's part of the reason I sent the other one back. So if you have a different style hose, what you're going to just have is this elbow's not going to be here, but you're going to have sort of from here downwards, and you're going to need to connect an M22 hose, a 3/8 by M22, male, and that's going to get you to where you need to be. So all you've got to do here is thread this through, and then you sort of need to find basically where it's not going to be in kind of an awkward position. So about sort of here should be okay, and then it's just a case of threading it in, and it goes in pretty nicely because of that right angle. So at this point you should be left with 3 things. First one is this little red strap. You should have another nylock nut, and you should also have a washer here as well. So that is going to go onto this portion here. So there's a little bolt just sticking out. It's going to go onto that long one, and it's just used to secure that hose in place. So you need to pull this back a little bit just so it's not sort of, I don't want it to be sort of super kinked and sort of super tight here where it's going to restrict anything. We don't want too much overhang. Obviously the Kranzle hose, due to this collar, is going to have some overhang. So all this is nice and secure now, so all I'm going to do is pull the little lock out here, so that's out of place, and wind up the hose. So now that's all wound up, it's just a case of attaching this link hose. So we've got a 3/8 connection here, so first goes on here, and it's got this little elbow, so it's a little bit cleaner connection. And then this is the M22 connection that is just going to go onto the machine itself. So I've given this a quick test for leaks and it all looks fine, so good to go here. I'm really happy with it. I think obviously it's a lot easier than sort of coiling up my hose every time I use my K10, which was a little bit of a pain. So if you are using a pressure washer that doesn't have an integrated hose reel, then it is a really good option and it does make life a little bit easier. So in terms of some things to keep in mind, if you do go ahead and get one of these, if you are purchasing one for a Kranzle, stock Kranzle hose, using sort of these kind of attachments that have these big sort of collars on the end, my advice personally would be to go to somewhere like Kranzle Aqua Spray, which was, at the time of looking at least, I couldn't really see them anywhere else that had this elbow, as otherwise it's just a total nightmare to fit it. As I said, I did have to send one back as they couldn't supply that elbow, and it was easier just to sort of get it from somewhere else because, yeah, with it being an elbow, it's harder to screw in, you've got to detach it and then reattach it, and I just thought I'm going to end up with leaks, it's going to be a nightmare. So I thought it's just easier to go ahead and get it fully complete from somewhere else. If, however, you aren't purchasing it for a Kranzle hose, then obviously go ahead and get one that doesn't have the attachments. What you are going to need though is something to go in here, so it's likely going to be a 3/8 by M22 male-male connection, and that's going to go into an M22 connection hose. Obviously, if you are using quick connects, then it's going to be slightly different. And then you're also going to need the link hose, so this came with the full package from Kranzle Aqua Spray, as I said, so I didn't have to go ahead and purchase any extra attachments or the hose itself. So I've just got a 2 metre link hose, and it's 3/8 at the hose reel itself, and obviously M22 into the pressure washer. So again, you know, depending on what link hose you're getting, if you're getting an M22 link hose on both ends, you're going to need a 3/8 to M22 here as well. So just have a think, basically, what kind of pressure washer setup you're using. My advice would be, wherever you're getting it from, just drop them an email beforehand and check your pressure washer, the hose that you're using is compatible, and you don't need any extra parts. I did do this, but still ended up having some issues, so I would just do your best to get rid of any of those teething issues and try and contact the company so you can make sure you're getting the right thing. The only extra thing you're obviously going to need is the mounting equipment. The only other thing that I wanted to mention here is sort of the size of these. Now, this is the actual smallest version available, and this is for a 15 metre hose, but it's actually for a 15 metre 3/8 hose. This is a 1/4 inch hose, so I can get more hose on here, obviously with it being a little bit thinner. So this is actually a 20 metre Kranzle hose. If you're using a thicker hose though, and it's more than 15 metres, or using a longer Kranzle hose, then obviously at that point you're going to need the bigger version. I think the next step up is a 30 metre hose reel, so it's going to be pretty wide. This isn't that big at all, it actually is great because it's really compact. So this, I think, measures about 27 centimetres in width, so really not taking up too much wall space here, or if you've got a van, again, going to be pretty compact. So I'm going to pop some links in the description to where I've got mine, and potentially any attachments might you need if you're going to be using different sort of pressure washers. But again, just check where you're buying it from, make sure you're happy with the setup you're using. If you have enjoyed this video though, it'd be brilliant if you could drop it a like, and thanks very much for watching.